Last time on GNT Sailing, we arrived back in Puerto Escondido to ride out the north winds. I tightened the packing gland, and just as I completed that job, the next issue arose. That feels really good to have that packing gland not dripping anymore. But yeah, that feels really good, and I feel like I'm running out of things I've never touched before. I sure hope, but who knows? We're getting closer. What the hell could this be?
Welcome to GNT Sailing. If you're new here, I'm Gretchen and this is Tim. Together aboard Felicita, our Catalina 42, we're exploring this beautiful marble we call home. You'll find us this season sailing further south along Mexico's Pacific coast and deeper into the Sea of Cortez. We don't care where we go, we just care that we go, and we're glad you're coming along for the ride.
Mexico is Sexico!
We got a tow back to the boat, Tim cleaned the carburetor and got her going again, and that meant it was time for some fun. We do not know where they're taking us. We've been walking for miles. Just a couple. And we're just at the beginning of the hike, and we've already been walking for a couple of miles. They're just walking. I guess we are too.
I guess we are. We're followers, obviously. I think we go this way.
Which way?
We're up through the wash.
Well, we're kind of boxed in over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like right here, I think. There's like a little path-ish.
Charlie got up there. I don't think I'm going to chance it.
Prudent.
With my little chicken legs, I don't want to break anything.
We're not breaking anything today. I don't have time to take you anywhere.
Wouldn't that suck to injure yourself and end your fucking season?
Yeah.
Okay, so say a positive thing to unwash all that energy. It's going to be a safe hike up the canyon and back.
Well, we have two of the best safety officers in the Baja, California accompanying us today.
Who's that?
That would be Charlie Wyatt and Gretchen.
Yep.
Simpatico safety officers.
We're like
You
the
know,
Wonder
the
Twins.
Wild child.
Wild child. Don't be
climbing
following
around
us.
the trees.
Don't do it.
The wild children.
We made it. Intrepid hikers
Of the world.
I feel sad today because the folks from Delaware Girl are going home for the holidays, which means it's time for us. Well, this isn't the sad part, but it means it's time for us to start heading south. Said goodbye to Salt Whistle. Now we're saying goodbye to Delaware Girl.
While Gretchen stayed with all the luggage on shore, I went back and picked Wendy and Charlie up in our dinghy.
Really? Shit.
What you doing?
Don't go.
Tim, where's your shoes?
My bag.
You even dressed the same now.
Brothers from another mother.
That's right.
We dropped Wendy and Charlie off at the airport and headed back to the marina to deal with the outboard again.
We dropped our friends off. We've showered. We're back at the dinghy. Hopefully this motor will start and we can leave Escondido. But we'll see. It's working, you guys.
Stupid little shit. I think this tank sits out in the sun all day long, builds up. Mike was telling me that they used to have vents on them, but California outlawed them and can't have vents, so you gotta just crack this thing open every day. I noticed that in the jerry cans too, that they sit out in the sun and they just blow up. They're pressurized.
Yeah.
So every time I walk by, I
Vent them.
vent them. So I guess we gotta remember to do that with this thing too.
Yeah.
Well, as you can see, that didn't work either. Here we are rowing again. Not sure what it is. It only ran for a couple of minutes and then died.
On the positive side, there's not very much wind, so this rowing expedition is made possible by the lack of wind. On the negative side, besides the motor not running, it's a pretty far row out to the mooring field in Puerto Escondido. But Tim's getting his aerobic exercise today. I offered to row. He said he's good. As usual, we bit off more than we should be chewing on leaving day. Got a little bit bunched up. Unexpected dinghy motor issue, ate some time. We wanted to get diesel. That didn't work out because the fuel dock was empty, so we'd have to sit around and wait. Don't really want to do that because we have a little weather window to get south before the next norther. So we've got plenty of fuel to do anything we need to do right now. It may mean that we end up having to go into La Paz later to get fuel, but we'll just sort of see how it shakes out. It is what it is. Frustrating day.
Dinghy motor is very frustrating. It wasn't a frustrating day other than that.
Yeah.
It's just hanging over my head now. Got to figure it out. Try not to think that it's the most complicated thing it can be.
Yeah.
But it's something simple. So I can't help but noodle on this stuff when it's annoying me that the motor doesn't work, the outboard. So I got to thinking, I know I filled this up, so I thought, I'll just look in there and see if that gas is gone. And sure enough, I open it up, it's completely empty. So then that gets me thinking that this fuel lever here on the side is only for the internal tank. But I didn't know that. So I've been opening that every time, even when this is connected, the external tank. So I'm thinking this, when you plug this in and there's fuel, it bypasses that. So I need to leave that off with the external tank connected and see if it runs. And I do believe that's going to be my bonehead problem. So we'll see. Get this thing in the water, not tomorrow. I guess tomorrow at San Francisco. We'll see. I think I can stop noodling on it now though, even though I won't be able to test all that theory out for a couple of days.
Oh, good. It's about 05:15. Making coffee. We have about 11-hour trip down to Isla San Francisco, which is the bay that, or the anchorage we want to go to sit out the next blow. So we are up early. We're gonna start heading out and should be hopefully a good day. It's gonna be kind of light wind, but out of the right direction, I think, once it picks up. So maybe we'll get a sail some. South we go.
Making sure all of our flags are flying perfectly. It's another thing I have a thing for is flags. Flags and bags. What I found on YouTube last night and confirmed is that I'm an idiot. No, the internal tank on an outboard, I'm sure not just our Honda, the only thing we ever used was an internal tank. So this year we upgraded to an external tank. But I still flipped the fuel lever thinking I needed to do that, but that lever is for the internal tank. So all we've been doing this whole time is running out of gas.
That's our problem.
That's our only problem with our outboard motor.
Well, we diagnosed it well. We knew it was a fuel issue. It was just the most obvious fuel issue.
I know that I filled up the tank the last time this happened, the internal tank. So I thought, I'm gonna see if that's still full. So I open it up, dry as a bone. And that's when it occurred to me that that switch is telling the motor, use this gas, not this great big tank. And every day I'm saying, boy, we're really not using much gas out of this tank, are we? What a freaking moron.
No.
What are you doing, Gretchen?
Well, in Mexico, you can't find boxes of raisins, and Tim makes this amazing picadillo recipe that has olives and raisins, and that combination of sweet and salty is so good. and it's one of our favorite passage meals, so we want to make that. But the only way I could get raisins was I saw this trail mix, which was probably about $1 bajillion that has raisins. So now I'm picking all the raisins out for the recipe.
That's dedication.
It is. It's a good recipe. So we are approaching Isla San Francisco. It's been a motor all day, unfortunately. We've been traveling along with a buddy boat, Karen and Paul, on SV Talisman. So we're gonna sit here in San Francisco together and ride out the next norther. I'm feeling a little melancholy. The last time that I was here, it was just a few days after my dad died. So I'm sort of, and it was around this time last year that he was in the hospital. So yeah, I can't help but think about what life was like in our family a year ago today, and I miss the OG. Okay, so we're all tucked in here in Isla San Francisco. The wind is supposed to come in kind of in the middle of the night. We are kind of close to these rocks, like 350 feet once we got the anchor set, but the wind is supposed to shift so that it's actually coming from that direction. So once that wind shift happens, we'll be like 470 feet away from the rocks, and this rock face will be to windward, which is good because we'll have some good protection and hopefully not too much fetch on the water. So we feel good about our spot, although we're kind of watching, you know, the wind isn't supposed to shift to come out of the east, so, or out of the south. That would be bad. So hopefully the forecast will hold. Our friends Talisman are right there in that blue hull boat. So we're gonna go over and have sundowners with them, and we're just hunkering down. We provisioned and have a lot of cooking projects. We're gonna do, well, Tim, I shouldn't say we. Tim is gonna do some cooking ahead so that we've got lots of pre-made food that all we have to do is thaw and heat up. So he's gonna work on that for the next few days while we're sitting here. I've got some editing to do, and we've got Starlink so we can binge watch some shows. And yeah, we're gonna probably be sitting here for 3 or 4 nights. One of the really cool things that has happened in this anchorage, it's nice, it's kind of calm, the calm before the big wind. This big pod of dolphins just swam through the anchorage. They're feeding. They were going nice and slow, so hopefully I can share some footage of that. Isla San Francisco is definitely one of our favorite stops in the Sea of Cortez. It has great protection, wonderful holding, room for lots of boats, ample hiking, and the sunsets are what you dream of when you think about this cruising life. It was also fun to spend time enjoying our Christmas lights. Tim was very busy doing a second day of cooking ahead, and he made his chicken chili, but here we can't find ground chicken very easily, so he did it with ground pork, and we can't find cannellini beans, so he used pinto beans, and it is delicious. So we got 3 meals, 6 servings, 3 dinners out of that. Yummy.
Stay true to that fire in your heart and your soul. Don't drench your desire in what you can't control. We fly, try so hard to get there, and we might be lost but not forever.
So we are sitting here on anchor at Isla San Francisco, and the wind is definitely piped up, but we're tucked in here real nice. Like, I don't think it would be too terrible to go to shore even with this wind, so hopefully we'll be able to get off the boat. But anywho, we hiked this morning, and now we are just hanging out on the boat, and Tim is getting ready. We did a huge provisioning run before we left the Puerto Escondido area, and now Tim's getting ready to have a cooking extravaganza.
Yeah, I have my whole list here, all the things things you want me to cook ahead. So I'm gonna knock 2 of those off today and then 2 more tomorrow. And then I'll be done. What's today? Thursday?
Today's Thursday.
Yes.
What are you cooking today?
Picadillo and Spanish rice to go with it. Those freeze very well, so we'll freeze those. And then for dinner tonight, we have chili verde that I made the other day. We have enough of that left over for our dinner tonight. But we're here for like, what, 3-4 days for these northers.
How's it going here in Cookie Land?
Good. Rice is done, cooling off, getting ready to vacuum pack. Picadillo is on its final stages.
Did you have to do any zigging and zagging in this recipe?
Yeah, no tomato paste in Mexico, or the parts of Mexico we've been to. So I read that ketchup is a decent substitute, so that's what I put in here.
Did we have ketchup?
Nope. I had to borrow some of that even from our buddy boat Talisman. And as you previously documented, no raisins, so you had to pick through all the trail mix to come up with some raisins. That's those. And the potatoes go in next.
Oh my gosh, it smells so good.
Not bragging, but look how perfectly diced those potatoes are.
They're perfectly diced.
That was the French way I learned to. But look how much potato you waste. But for me, it's not a waste because I love raw potato with salt on it, which most people think is weird, but I don't care. So that's the whole concoction here. You mix it very well, you cover it, you let it simmer until those potatoes are soft, and that's done. And that's picadillo.
Tim always ties this amazing knot on the dinghy called a painter's hitch. What's it called?
I can't remember.
But watch this. We're in the dinghy and I just pull it from inside the dinghy and it releases and we're off. He's a man of many knots. Tonight we're going to Talisman to have sundowners and play dominoes and enjoy this beautiful anchorage.
Oh my God.
But I have one tile left.
A 9. Wow.
I have one tile left.
I don't know if you can see the whitecaps out there beyond that point of Isla San Francisco. This is day 3 of a norther kicking up those winds. It wouldn't be terrible to sail in. It's kind of laid down a little bit, but we're happy here. So this is day 3 of Cook Ahead. What's on the menu today, Cookie?
Zuppa Toscano. It's a copycat recipe from Olive Garden. It's very tasty.
What's it have in it?
So there's the mise en place. It's got Italian sausage, but we found this Argentinian chorizo kind of stuff, so I just cut it up to make it look like Italian sausage. It's got bacon, onions, garlic, potatoes. It's supposed to have kale, but I bought something that looked like kale, maybe chard or something, for the greens, so that's
What's
all
in
of
there?
it. That's bouillon. I need a bunch of chicken bouillon, and I don't have chicken stock, so I heat up the bouillon and get it nice and dissolved.
And then do you put a little cream in it?
At the end, you throw the cream and the kale in. That's the last thing, and then you just warm it up.
Nice. This is Tim's Cook Ahead assignments. It looks good. Smells good.
Yeah, that should be all of them now. Vacuum pack that, we'll let it cool.
Yep.
Then we should have a freezer full of...
At least 9 or 10 dinners.
Wow, that's good.
That is, thank you.
We'll see you next time as we continue making our way south. Like, comment, and subscribe. Mexico. Come for the sailing, stay for the movies.